Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. At the club, Adam spots Billy and Sally kissing. Victor turns to look and muses, "That's interesting." Adam asks what is interesting, the fact that they obviously came from one of their suites, or the fact that they're holding hands. Victor asks if he thinks it's what it appears to be. Adam's sure of it and curses Billy out. He's sure he's using Sally to get back at him and calls him a total loser. Victor tells his son to listen to him. Billy Boy Abbott and Sally Spectra, that's a match made in hell. He urges his son not to let them see him get angry. They'll know they've won. Adam calls the waiter over to send Billy and Sally a bottle of champagne from him. Victor nods. Now that's well played. Esther closes the coffee shop and tells Sharon she can do the sugar. Sharon says it calms her. Esther muses, "You wouldn't want to get all worked up." She stammers on for a few minutes and then apologizes. Sharon asks if she's okay. She's alone in a room with a cold-blooded murderer. Esther says, "You're not cold-blooded." Sharon lets her know how sorry she is for what happened. Esther feels the only reason she could be guilty of this is because she's very, very sick. Sharon says a lot of people would condemn her for what she did, and they'd be right. Esther argues she hasn't been herself for a while now. She recalls that Sharon yelled at her once, but she thinks she was actually yelling at her troubles. She hopes she can get the help that she needs. Sharon tells Esther she can go home. "You've done enough already." Esther leaves and Sharon locks the door and turns out the lights. Sitting, she muses, "If Esther noticed who I was, who I am." Cameron appears and says, "She must think you are one sick puppy. To be honest, you better hope the judge and jury hope the exact same thing. It's better to be making potholders in Fairview than to serve a life sentence in the state pen." Cameron goes on about the slop they serve in prison and says her skin will turn gray. She tells him to stop. Cameron continues that the sad part is her family will never really trust her again. Sharon says they love her. Cameron needs her to face reality. She's the crazy pariah who murdered a mom. Eventually they'll stop visiting, and she'll die alone and forgotten. Sharon says this is not real. He is not real. They are done. Cameron asks why she keeps calling him back. "You dragged me here. Why?" Sharon says he's there so she can end this. "I don't need you anymore. Goodbye, Cameron." At the hospital, Nick chides Phyllis for kicking Chance out. She'd much rather talk to him. He says she looks good, alive and talking. She thanks him for saving her life. Nick reaches out and takes her hand. Nick tells Phyllis that Chance helped. He's glad they got to her in time. She asked how he came to be there. He says they heard the crash at the wedding and assures her it didn't mess up the nuptials. Phyllis states that she's alive because he walked through fire for her. Nick grins, "Not quite." He tells her it was scary seeing the flames and her trapped inside. "It took both of us to get you out of that car." Phyllis owes him her life. "I will never, ever forget that." In the club dining room, Adam watches as Billy and Sally chat. Billy tells Sally that he hopes what happened upstairs doesn't change the friendship they're building. Sally feels closer to him now. The waiter comes with the champagne from Mr. Newman, and Billy and Sally declare they won't be drinking it. Billy tips the waiter after telling him to make sure to charge them for it. Sally wonders if Billy will use the bottle as a weapon. Billy's enjoying himself too much and waves at Adam. Watching him try so hard not to let his head explode is worth it. Sally thinks that little bit of revenge they wanted, they got it. At Adam's table, he rants to his father about Billy's dad jokes as he hears Sally laugh. He wants to punch him. Victor warns him not to go over there. Billy's not worth it. He urges him to devote his time to Chelsea and Connor. Adam doesn't think that's in the cards. Victor says Sally was nothing more than a diversion. She's a user. Adam will find the right woman and fall in love again. Adam doesn't think he has a heart left. Victor insists it's not the end. He'll find someone. Adam stands up. Good night, Pop. Billy and Sally watch and walk out, and Billy says they got under his skin. In the hospital, Nick grills Phyllis about whether he saw Sharon in the other car. Phyllis says she was texting her and trying to lure her to her house. Nick asks if she's sure Sharon is the one who did it. Phyllis is sure she was texting her to come to her house. Nick says that was just before she confessed everything to Chance. Phyllis says, see, she probably thought she'd killed her, and that pushed her over the edge into confessing to